Hello, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you how to crochet this gorgeous, very simple shawl based on a pattern that I did a while back, the diamond blanket. And I used the same yarn actually. This is Ice Cream by Lion Brand, as always not sponsored, but like to share with you. And this is the colorway of Cookies and Cream. Yum. And it's very, very simple. The diamonds I made a little bit smaller than the diamonds for the blanket, which actually makes it really quite simple because it's only a 3-row repeat. Yes, you heard me correctly. Only 3-row repeat makes it very, very simple. And because it starts at the top neckline corner, just going to shimmy this down here. Because it starts at the top right here, it creates this beautiful V-shaped colorway going on. And also, you could, by all means, use a solid color for this, and it would really make the diamonds pop even more, although I thought that the effect came out beautifully, if I say so myself, with the different colorways. I don't think it's too terribly busy, and you can still see the diamonds just dandy. And also, with the blanket, I used a size G hook with this yarn. This time I used a size H 5mm hook. You can, of course, use whatever hook and whatever yarn works for you. I'm just letting you know what it is that I personally used. And out of the skein, I had this much left over after a full-sized shawl. Full for me, anyway. And so I'm going to use this for this example, what I had left over. And so without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, row 1. So, as to begin with, of course, we need a slip knot. Easy peasy. And we're going to begin by chaining up 6. Now, there are a ton of different ways that you could go about doing this, but I'm going to chain up 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then do a slip stitch into the first chain to create a ring. Like so. Then we need a loop on the side, and this is going to make more sense as we keep going. So we're going to chain up 5. So that's going to count as a double crochet and a chain 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then into the ring, 3 double crochets. So that's 1, and 2, and 3. So we have our end space, and this is important for future reference. Then we need to separate our cluster with a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. And this sort of creates the middle spine, if you will. Then 3 more double crochets into the circle here. Also, I am crocheting over my tail, which does make it a lot easier in the long run. So 3 more double crochets. So that's 1, and 2, and 3, and then to finish off, chain 2 and a double crochet into the center ring once again. All right, and that is the end of the first row. Real simple. Alrighty, row 2. So I'm going to start by chaining up 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn the work, and we're going to have this cluster increase. So going into the chain 2 space right here, 2 double crochets into that space, and then a double crochet into each of these 3, that's 1 and 2 and almost got it, 3, and then 2 more double crochets for this diamond in the chain space here. So that's 2 more. 2 more doubles right there. Then we need the spine again, so that's a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we do the same thing on this side. So into the chain space, that's 2 double crochets and 2. Then a double crochet into each of these 3. That's 1 and 2 and 3. And then 2 more double crochets into this chain space right here, this loop. So it's 1 and 2. Then chain 2 and double crochet into that same chain space. All right, and that's the end of the second row. So just keep in mind that we went from 3 double crochets to a total of 7 double crochets. 2, 4, 6, and 7. Okay, and so the numbers are important. So from 3 to 7, and then we're going to go up once again in the next row. Alrighty, be right back. Alrighty, row 3. And as always, going to chain up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn the work and into the chain space at the end here, 2 double crochets. That's 1 and 2. And then a double crochet into each of these 7 double crochets, and then 2 at the end for a total of 11 double crochets. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more double crochets into this space to make a total of 11. Like so. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 11. Then, since we've reached the spine, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then same thing with this grouping. So 2 double crochets into this chain space, then 1 in each of these 7, and then 2 at the end. So again, it's a total of 11 for this diamond. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then to finish off the row, chain 2 and double crochet into the chain space. Okay, and that's the end of row 3. So again, keeping in mind, we went from 3 to 7 to 11, and in the next row, we're going to shrink down. But in order to shrink down, we also need to compensate by creating some new diamonds, which I'm going to show you how to do. Alrighty. Alrighty, row 4, and actually, this is the start of the repeat, believe it or not. You know, it's that quick. All right, so to begin with, going to chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn the work. Now, we need to start new diamonds because this diamond, it's not going to get any bigger. So it's therefore going to become smaller. So we need to start new diamonds. So into this chain 2 space at the beginning, 3 double crochets into the space. So that's 2 and 3. Then chain 2 and skipping the first 2 double crochets of the previous diamond, skip those 2, going into the next double crochet and 6 more for a total of 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so again, we went from 3 to 7 to 11, back down to 7 again, and we have the 3 on the side there. So again, we need to jump over this gap here, so chain 2, and then into the chain 3 space, 3 double crochets, like so. Then, because this is the spine, chain 3, and then 3 more double crochets into that same space. Okay, then chain 2, because we need to bridge the gap when we skip the next 2 double crochets going into the third, and the next 6 as well, for a total of 7, making this diamond smaller. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skipping these last 2, chain 2, going over them and then into the end space with 3 double crochets. Chain 2, and a double crochet into that same space. All right, so as you can see, our diamond went from 3 to 7 to 11 down to 7, and we have the beginnings of diamonds on either side because these are going to grow outwards, and this one too is shrinking down, and it's going to keep going in this same manner as we keep going. So that is the first row of the repeat, okay, and we shall keep going. Alrighty, row 5. So for row 5 again, we chain up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, turn the work. Now we need to make this diamond grow. So in order to do that, into this first space, 2 double crochets, and then 1 into each of these 3, and then 2 at the end for a total of 7. And then 2 into this space right here that we made. So we went from 3 to 7 again. See where this is going? So then to continue along, chain 2, and then again skipping the first 2 double crochets of the previous diamond. So skipping those 2, going into the next. So that's 1, 2, and 3 double crochets, because again, from 3 to 7 to 11 to 7, back down 2, 3 again. Okay? It's all about sequence. And then we chain 2 again, because this diamond is not getting anywhere. It's not, going to get any bigger. It's not going to get any smaller. I'll show you what happens on the next row. So after chaining 2 into the next chain 2 space, we need to make this diamond grow. So 2 double crochets, then a double crochet into each of these 3, and then 2 into the center spine for a total of 7 double crochets. So that's 4, 5, and then 2 into the center space, 6, and 7. Okay, and then since this is the center spine, chain 3, and then we need to make this diamond grow, so 2 double crochets, and then 1 into each of these 3. So that's 1 double, 2 doubles, 3, and then 2 doubles into this chain space so that we have our 7. Like so. Chain 2, skipping the next 2 double crochets of the previous diamond, going into the 3rd stitch, and 2 more for a total of 3 doubles. Okay, chain 2, and then into the next chain 2 space, 2 doubles, and 1 into each of these 3, and then 2 more at the very end in this space for a total of 7. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more, 6, 7, and to finish it off, chain 2 and double crochet into the chain space. All right, and that is the end of row 5. So you can see how where some begin, another one ends. All right, and then we shall continue on to row 6. Alrighty, row 6. Okay, so now as always, we're going to start by chaining up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn the work. And we need to make this diamond grow once again, so into the chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, and then 1 into each of these 7, and then 2 at the end for a total of 11. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more in the chain 2 space for a total of 11. Chain 2, and we're going to hop right over these 3 and going into the next chain 2 space with 2 double crochets into that chain 2 space. So we're just hopping right over. Okay, so we got our chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then double crochet into each of these 7 in order to continue on our merry way, making this diamond bigger. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more in this chain space to make 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yes, okay. And then, because this is the center spine, chain 3, and then into the space again, 2 double crochets, there we go, and then double crochet into each of these 7, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more into the chain space. Okay, and let me just untangle my yarn here because, well, it's the nature of the beast. Emphasis on the word beast. Oh, dear me. Okay, I just need to untangle this. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I just did my 11 from the top center. So I did my 11, and then we need to bridge over these 3. So chain 2, and then into the next chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, and then a double crochet into each of these 7, and then 2 more at the end for a total of 11. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more at the very end. So that's 10 and 11. Then chain 2 and another double crochet into that same chain space. All right, and that is a full repeat. So when you lay it out, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Ta-da! So the deal is if you keep going with this same repeat, because we've reached the 11 point, right? Well, that means that, these existing diamonds, these 4 on the edges here need to get smaller. So that means we need to create new ones, which will be at this point, the center point, this one, and this one. So we're going to end up with more diamonds as we go. So that being said, I am going to do, yes, another repeat for you because I want to make sure that you really get how this pattern works. I mean, it is, I would like to think, fairly straightforward. No, I don't have a pattern because I came up with it myself. So I just was sort of winging it when I came up with it. Actually, it's Thursday night right now, and I came up with a pattern on Tuesday night. And I've been hard at work trying to get this done in time so that I could get it filmed and ready for you. So bear with me. All right, so we're going to do another repeat, and we will just mosey on and keep on going. All right. Alrighty, row 7. Going to start by chaining up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the work. And like I said, we have our 11, so this one needs to get smaller, so we need to create a new one at the very beginning. So into the chain 2 space, 3 double crochets, okay, chain 2, and then skipping the first 2 doubles going into the third, and we need to do a total of 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All right, we need to skip these last two, so chaining 2. And also, like I said, we need to create a new diamond in this space. So that being said, into the chain 2 space here, 3 double crochets, like so, chain 2, skipping the next 2 double crochets going into the third, and 6 more for a total of 7. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, chain 2, and then skipping the last 2 of the previous diamond, going into the center spine with 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3, chain 3, and then into that same center spine space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, skip the first 2 doubles going into the third, and 6 more for a total of 7. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Chain 2. Going into the chain 2 space, we need 3 doubles to make our new diamond. So it's 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2. Skipping the next 2 doubles going into the third, and 6 more for a total of 7. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Skipping those last 2, we chain 2, and into the corner space here, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and another double crochet to finish off row 7. So as you can see, where one ends, another one is about to begin, and this one is going to end, and this one's beginning, and so on and so forth. I love how you can just take a quick look at what you're doing, and you can figure out exactly where you are within the pattern. So this is, like I said, the first row of the repeat, and we shall continue on. All right. Alrighty, row 8. Because 8 is great. All right, so for row 8, I'm going to start by chaining up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Turn the work. Now we need to make this first diamond grow, so going into the chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, and then 1 in each of these 3. So that's a total of 3, 4, 5, and then we need 2 more for a total of 7 into this space. So that's 6 and 7. There we go. Then we need to make this previous diamond shrink more, so chain 2, skipping the first 2 doubles going into the third, and 2 more for a total of 3. Okay, so that one's shrunk down a little. Then chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we need to make this one grow, so 2 double crochets into the next chain 2 space. So that's 1 and 2, and then 1 into each of these 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more into this chain 2 space for a total of 7. 6 and 7. All right. See, we've got some growth and some shrinking. And so chain 2 again. And we need to make this one shrink. So skip the first 2 going into the third. And then 2 more for a total of 3. Chain 2. And then we need to make this one grow. So 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 1 into each of these 3. So that's a total of 3, 4, and 5. And then 2 more into the end, middle spine space. So we have our total of 7. 2, 4, and 3 make 7. So chain 3 because we are at the center spine. So 1, 2, 3. And we need to make this one bigger. So 2 double crochets. Yep, almost had it. So that's 2. 1 into these, 1 in each of these 3. So that's a total of 3 and 4 and 5. Then 2 more into this chain 2 space. So we have a total of 7 for this little growing diamond, like so. Chain 2. Skip the first 2 of this previous diamond going into the third. And then 2 more, so we have a total of 3. There we go. Shrinking down again. Chain 2. And then we need to make this one grow. So into the chain 2 space, 2 double crochets. 1 in each of these 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more into this chain 2 space. So we have a total of 7. Chain 2. Shrink this one down to 3, so skipping the first 2 doubles going into the third. And the next 2 for a total of 3. Chain 2. Into the next chain 2 space, 2 double crochets. 1 into each of these 3. So that's 3, 4, 5, and then 2 more into this chain space. So we have a total of 7. end by chaining 2 and a double crochet into the end space. All right, and that is the end of row 8. See how it's coming together? I love it. Love it. Okay, we'll keep going. Alrighty, row 9, last row of the repeat. Gonna start by chaining up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn the work. And we need to make this 7 become 11, so into the chain 2 space, 2 double crochets, and then 1 into each of these 7. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more into the chain space for a total of 11. Chain 2, skipping over these 3, going into the next chain 2 space with 2 doubles. And then into these 7, 1 in each. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more so that we have 11. Into that chain space, we do those 2. So we have 11 here and 11 here, and we will keep going by chaining 2 and then skipping over these 3, going into the next chain 2 space with 2 doubles, and then 1 in each of these 7. So that's a total of 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoop, oh, almost 9. And then 2 more into the center spine. So that we have 11 for this diamond. Then, because this is the center spine, chain 3. And then into the center spine space, 2 doubles. And then 1 in each of these 7. So we have a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more into the chain space for a total of 11. Okay. Then chain 2, skipping over these 3, going to the next chain space with 2 doubles. 1 into each of these 7. So that's a total of 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 2 more in the chain space so that we have 11. 10, and 11, chain 2, skipping over these 3, going to the next chain space with 2 double crochets, and then 1 into each of these 7. So that's a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 more into the end chain space. So we have a total of 11. Then chain 2 and double crochet into that same space. Ta-da! And there you go. All right, I'm going to lay this out and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so as you can see, we have our repeats going, and the diamond formation is, it works. It actually works. Believe it or not. So as I recapped the last time, the diamonds, they're not going to get any bigger. They need to get smaller, right? So this 11 is going to go down to 7. Same with this one, etc., etc. And new diamonds are going to start in this corner here, in this space, and this space, and 2 right here on our center spine, and another, and another, and another. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing, from both sides, from the center, and the center, and from the very end, we have diamonds growing, growing, growing. And it's really as easy as that. At least I would like to think so. And I hope that the extra repeat helped, most definitely. And yeah, so basically, you just keep going from 3 to 7 to 11, and then back down. But when you're going back down, you have to remember, oh, I have to create a new one. So you just keep going in that same fashion. It's just a 3-row repeat. So you can repeat rows 6 through 9 and just make it as big as you want to. Now me, I made this, I would say fingertip to fingertip with my arms outstretched, and it worked just fine for me, quite frankly. It went down the back just fine to about the waist, and I was able to wrap the tips in front, and I like it. It's light, it's lacy, and it's, rather decorative. Also, like I said, you can, of course, use perhaps more of a slow gradient color change, like an ombre would be lovely, or just a solid color even would look nice, definitely. And I really hope that you liked it. And if you did, please show your support and give me a little thumbs up button down below, because I always appreciate your appreciation and vice versa. And also, if you have any comments, I'd love to hear from you, as always. And, if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe, because I do try to post videos as often as I can, whether it's crocheting or knitting or audiobook narration, or check out my other channel, Fiber Spider Games. It's a lot of fun. I play video games and I give cute little snarky commentary, and it's a lot of fun, and I would be very appreciative if you would check it out. And if you like it, hey, subscribe to that one too, because on that one I try to post twice a day. So without further ado, I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.